Life is a journey filled with twists and turns, ups and downs, moments of joy and times of trial. We all have dreams, goals, and aspirations, but sometimes the path we walk seems uncertain. It's in those moments of doubt and confusion that we must remember there is a greater plan at work, a divine blueprint designed by God Himself. Believing in God's plan is not just about faith, it's about trust. Trusting that every experience, every challenge, every triumph is part of a bigger picture. You see, God's plan is perfect, even when it doesn't align with our own. When doors close, when setbacks arise, it's easy to feel disheartened. But what if those closed doors are guiding us towards something greater? What if those setbacks are setting us up for a comeback that we never imagined? There's a story in the Bible about Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It would have been easy for Joseph to give up, to believe that God had abandoned him. But Joseph held on to his faith, believing that God had a plan for his life. And in the end, Joseph rose to become a powerful leader in Egypt, saving not only his family, but an entire nation from famine. What seemed like a series of misfortunes was actually God's plan in motion. God's plan for you may not always be clear. It may not unfold the way you expect, but it is always for your good. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This verse is a promise, a reminder that God is in control, and His plans for us are filled with hope and purpose. Believing in God's plan requires patience. It requires us to surrender our need for control and trust that God knows what He's doing. It's about walking by faith, not by sight, and understanding that delays are not denials. God's timing is perfect, even when it doesn't match our own. When you face trials, when life doesn't make sense, remember that God is with you every step of the way. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail, turning your trials into triumphs, your pain into purpose. Your job is to believe, to trust, and to keep moving forward, knowing that God's plan for your life is good. Sometimes we may feel lost, as if our prayers go unanswered, and we question why certain things happen to us. In those moments, it's crucial to remember that God's plan is not limited by our understanding. His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. What we see as a setback might be God setting us up for something far greater than we could ever imagine. Consider the story of Moses. He was born into a world where his people were oppressed, and he himself was placed in a basket and sent down a river to escape death. Raised in Pharaoh's palace, Moses eventually led the Israelites out of slavery and into freedom. At first glance, his journey was filled with uncertainties and dangers, but every step was guided by God's hand. The struggles Moses faced were part of God's greater plan to deliver a nation. When we trust in God's plan, we are freed from the need to have all the answers. We can release the anxiety that comes with uncertainty because we know that our lives are in the hands of a loving and omnipotent Creator. God's plan is not always the easiest path, but it is the path that leads to true fulfillment and joy. So when the road gets tough, when you face obstacles that seem insurmountable, don't lose heart. Trust in God's plan. Believe that He is guiding you, shaping you, and preparing you for something greater. Your story is far from over, and with God's plan at work, the best is yet to come. Believe in God's plan, and let that belief be the anchor that holds you steady in the storms of life. Because when you trust in His plan, you'll find peace, purpose, and a future filled with hope.